Hello everyone again, and welcome to my Polish cuisine. We have a season for cherries, black cherries, tomatoes. Everything is nice and fresh, so why not preserve some of that freshness for our winter in the winter months, and then when we open a jar with all these goodies, they smell and taste amazing. So today I am making a compote for the winter, and this is going to be pasteurized. This will be pasteurized in the jars. This is a very easy process, and it only requires 3 ingredients, so why not make it? So the first thing I do is I place my cherries in a bigger bowl, and with the stems on, I'm going to wash them. And I wash them 3 times. So the very first one, I just basically rinse them. And make sure that you pick the cherries. Those are black cherries. And I had some left over, so I didn't want them to go to waste. And of course, it's always a good idea to do the compotes for the winter. So once you have them rinsed the first time, I'm gonna do is the second rinse, I will place a teaspoon of baking soda just to get rid of the pesticides in them or on them. That basically removes about, I would say, 95% of the pesticides, because these were purchased. And then the third water will be just the clean water to rinse out from the baking soda. And this is my third rinse. But basically, this is it as far as the washing goes. Cherries are washed. I'm going to now remove the stems from the cherries, but I'm gonna leave the pits inside. The reason for that is if you want to remove the pits from the inside, then you're losing a lot of the juices that are in there. And now I have picked the stems out of the black cherries, so I'm ready to make the compote now. Here I have about 1 kilogram of the black cherries. I also have 2 9 ml jars with the lids, and they have been scalded with hot water. So let's fill in the first one. We don't want to overfill, so, and I like the compotes to be concentrated instead of just placing half-filled jars on in my pantries or in the basement, so they taste better when they're full. Oh, I can still put a little bit more in there. Fill it. And now the second one. And that was just the perfect amount of the cherries. I used them all up. So now I'm going to add the sugar. I'm just gonna use a teaspoon per 100, so 9 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the same with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 and 9. And I have some hot water, and I'm going to fill my jars with hot water. So the reason for this is that the cherries retain more flavor inside. But you can also use cold water for these. And I'm gonna wipe around here, making sure that my lids suck in once they are being pasteurized. Now I will place some paper towel on the bottom of my pot here. Place these jars in. I will cover it about 3/4 with water. I'm gonna cover this with the lid. We're gonna pasteurize these for about 15 to 20 minutes over medium heat. And make sure that you add hot water to this, just because the contents of the jars is hot. And when the water begins to boil, you can put it over low heat and just enough to perk. This is probably a little bit too much, so I put it on low heat. I cover them up and I will count 15 minutes from that time and remove the jars. Now the compotes are done, so what I like to do is remove them and tighten the lids a little bit more and invert upside down. And just remember not to overcook these, because your cherries will just become mushy. And get rid of the water. Shake the sugar in there a little bit, but eventually it'll come down. And be careful when you're handling these, because this is very hot. So I'm going to let them cool and then check to make sure that the lids are sealed. And if they are, I will place them in my pantry. My jars are done. They've been sitting here overnight. Just make sure that the lids are sucked in, and they are in both cases. So I'm gonna store these in my basement on my shelves with the rest of the stuff and enjoy this delicious compote in the wintertime. So if you like this recipe, please give me the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching.